Hi everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to dive in and give you guys all of the best tips that I have for buying liquidation. So I'm sure that it's no big surprise that a lot of resellers right now are turning to purchasing liquidation during the pandemic because it is a lot safer to receive merchandise at our homes rather than going out and sourcing to find the products that we want to list online for sale. And because there are so many sellers right now buying liquidation that have never tried liquidation before, I have seen a surge in questions and comments on my videos surrounding expectations, item condition that's arriving, and what exactly is typical versus not typical of buying liquidation. Liquidation is something that is very, very tricky. That's one of the reasons why it took me so long to decide to start buying liquidation. I've talked to you guys before about my history with reselling way back when I was just doing retail arbitrage and buying from people on Facebook Marketplace, and then I immediately moved into thrift stores. I was at a point in my reselling journey where even though I had several years of reselling experience under my belt, I was not comfortable with buying liquidation because at that time I did understand that liquidation had a lot of risk that was involved. Fast forward to about 18 months ago, when I first started buying liquidation, that would have been in December of 2018, I decided to start, taking the plunge because I had reached a point in my business where I wanted to expand. I wanted to be able to scale up and I just couldn't do that sourcing one-offs at the thrift stores. And I had the capital to risk buying those items and trying them out. So this video is all of the tips that I have learned from the last 18 months of successfully sourcing liquidation. And I wanted to share all of these with you guys because I know you have a lot of questions when it comes to what is typical, what is not typical, what kind of conditions you can expect. Let's get into those tips. The first tip that I have is to have realistic expectations when buying liquidation. Liquidation does not equal brand new, and liquidation does not equal wholesale. Buying brand new master case products and buying brand new wholesale merchandise is a completely different animal. It is not the same as liquidation. Typically, when you would buy wholesale or buying brand new master case products, that means that you are receiving brand new, pristine packaged merchandise that has never seen a store shelf before. Liquidation can consist of brand new merchandise, however, it is still not master case or wholesale quality. If you ever see brand new merchandise listed in liquidation form, that just basically means that an item was pulled off of a store shelf and liquidated. Even though an item is brand new and has been liquidated, it can still be damaged because it has transitioned multiple vendors or it has been on a store shelf previously and has been handled, so the packaging might be a little bit damaged and less than pristine looking. So even if you order brand new merchandise that has been liquidated, it is very unrealistic to expect that the item is in pristine condition. So that means if you order liquidation of brand new merchandise, expect to see dings, dents in boxes, or even potentially damaged product. This is normal. If you're wanting to buy brand new merchandise that has absolutely no damage or signs of wear, you will need to go the route of buying direct wholesale or buying brand new master case merchandise directly from distributors. And again, this is completely different than liquidation. Another unrealistic expectation I don't think that people understand when going into buying liquidation is that damaged products and trash are completely normal, especially when you are buying customer returns. If you are buying a liquidation pallet or box lot of customer returns, you should be expecting to receive some trash, some empty boxes, broken items, or even merchandise that is completely unsellable. This is normal. Customer returns is by far one of the riskiest types of liquidation that can be purchased because customer returns are exactly that. They were sold to a customer and then brought back to the retailer for an unknown reason. The original buyer might have damaged the product and then returned it. They could have used the product and then returned it. Or they could have even returned an empty box. Unfortunately, that's the way the retail world works right now. There are several different retailers that don't even validate whether or not there is even a product left in the box. They just simply take the return and give the buyer back their money. While I think that that is absolutely absurd, that is the kind of retail world that we are living in. So you might see on a manifest there being a brand new electric toothbrush or a brand new electric shaver, and you get the box looks pristine, and then you open it and there is nothing in it. If that's a customer returns liquidation, that's typical. And because that is so risky, that is one of the reasons why I always tell people when they're asking me about buying liquidation for the first time, how exactly to go about doing it. My suggestion is always buy brand new liquidated merchandise if possible, and do not spend more money than you are willing to lose. That is personally what I had to do when starting to buy liquidation. I started with a liquidation lot of around $500, and I went into that completely expecting that $500 to not be returned. I always tell people what amount you start with liquidation should be the amount of money that you could literally light on fire and burn it up. And if it doesn't detrimentally hurt you financially, that's the dollar amount that you should start with. I'm not saying that every first time liquidation purchase that you make, you're going to lose it all, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Because if you only have $200 to your name and you use that $200 to buy a liquidation lot, only to find out that it was full of empty boxes and trash and you can't even sell it for $50 now, if that hurts you financially, then that was a business mistake. Never, ever, ever buy liquidation with the money that you cannot afford to lose. If you are still in the state of your reselling business where every single dollar is super precious and you cannot risk losing that money, that is when I would recommend it is not time to do liquidation because of the risk factor. If you are still in that stage of your reselling business, I would highly suggest that you just continue to do hand picking of items, whether it's at garage sales, thrift stores, or buying from individuals on Facebook Marketplace. If you are so tight with your finances in your reselling business right now that you are not able to light any money on fire, I would recommend waiting for liquidation because it's just not the right time. Also, something else that I wanted to expand on is that even the absolute best liquidation companies out there can have bad lots. Speaking from experience, there has not been one liquidation company that I have worked with where I wasn't disappointed at least once. Liquidation companies are 100% reliant on the kind of merchandise that retailers send them, and they are completely at the mercy of whatever condition and merchandise those retailers decide to send them. So if a really good liquidation company gets a series of trucks where the merchandise just isn't that great, or there's a lot of damage received, that's all that the liquidation company has to offer. And I do know that there are liquidation companies out there that do their best to try to disregard unsellable merchandise as much as they can, or if they know that there's not a ton of value in the trucks that they receive, trying to mix in some good merchandise so that people don't get lots of only low quality merchandise, but that's not always possible. You also have to keep in mind that a lot of the times these liquidation companies, when they're going through sorting lots, they don't necessarily know the resale value of these items. A lot of the times these companies that are sorting lots are doing it so quickly, they have no idea what kind of value they're putting in the box if nothing is manifested. So now, if there are lots that are 100% manifested, that means that you know exactly what's in the box before you order it. At those times, when the manifests are created, then there is an idea of what kind of resale value might potentially be in the box. And even that's not completely accurate because most of the time, manifests include the retail price and not the resale price. So even then, The companies don't know the resale value of the lots that they're selling. They're only telling you the estimated retail cost. But if you are buying unmanifested lots from liquidation companies, the chances of them knowing exactly what the value is of the box is extremely low, because those workers have no idea what the resale value is because they're not resellers. They're just simply breaking down literally tens of thousands of items in a single day, putting boxes together and sending them off to people who buy them. So we as resellers cannot expect these liquidation companies to know the value of the boxes that they're selling us, especially if they are unmanifested. That is why liquidation is almost always a gamble. The only sure thing is buying from distributors or direct wholesalers. If you're buying liquidation, it's always a risk because you cannot guarantee that every single time you order from even the best liquidation companies, everything that you receive is going to be perfect resellable merchandise. And because there are rarely any guarantees, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will be compensated or credited for damaged merchandise. In my experience, the only time this happens is if there is some sort of a guarantee in the liquidation listing that you purchase that states that the items are brand new or they're shelf pulls and should be brand new, ready for resale. If then you get a lot full of empty boxes or damaged merchandise or broken goods from shipping, only then is there maybe some sort of credit or something that you can work out with the liquidation company. But if you're ordering customer returns, those are usually as-is sales. If you're buying customer returns liquidation, what you get is what you get. It is not likely that you will receive any form of credit or compensation from the liquidation company for damaged goods. Another tip that I have for you in buying liquidation is to always dissect the manifest if there is one provided. So there are some liquidation companies out there that will provide a manifest for all lots or some lots, and then there are some companies out there that will do everything completely unmanifested, basically meaning that you're buying a complete mystery box. You have no idea what is in them. If you have a manifest with your lot, do not 100% trust the information that is on that manifest, because most of the times those manifests quote a retail price value, and that is not the same as a resale price value. That is another thing I wanted to make sure to point out. Retail price does not equal resale price. So if you have a manifest and that manifest lists several different items, do not believe that that item will sell for $20. Go to the platform that you intend to resell that merchandise on and see how much it's selling for. If you have a product and the manifest says that this is selling for $40. Don't believe it. Don't believe it, not because the liquidation company is trying to swindle you into inflating the manifest and making you think it's worth more, but because retail value is not necessarily resale value. As a matter of fact, retail value is not resale value at all. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen a price tag on an item and the price of resale was so significantly different. It's crazy. So just because the manifest that this sells for $40, do your due diligence and go to the platform that you intend to sell that on, whether it's Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, whatever platform you are intending to use to resell that item. Go to it, do a simple search. Like for this, you would just search Double Trouble Organic Swim Splash Clarifying Shampoo. You would go and you would just search that item and see what people are selling it for and see what people are buying it for. That means you need to check the sold comps as well as the active comps. I did an entire video, sidebar, I did an entire video talking about how to price your items. I'll link it up here so you can watch it when this is done if you missed it. But you search the active comps and then you search the sold comps and you see what people are actually buying and selling this for right now. It might be $10, it might be $20, but I would bet you it's not $40. And so whatever you can realistically sell it for, write that down and keep track of that, because those are the numbers that's going to indicate whether or not that manifested lot is actually going to make you any money based on what they're asking for it. So if a site has a manifested box that is $500 and you've done your due diligence and you've cross-checked the manifest with the platform you intend to sell it on, and you find that after everything has sold, you're only going to be able to make $400 back, do not buy that box. And I think that that's a mistake that a lot of people are making, especially right now. I think people are panic buying liquidation lots. They're paying full price for manifested lots, but they are not accurately checking the manifest against the platform that they are planning to sell it on. And I think that a lot of people are overpaying for lots. And then to make matters even worse, they're overpaying for customer return lots, and they're receiving more damage than was expected, meaning that they are losing even more money. So do yourself a favor and double check, triple check the manifest and make sure that you can actually make a profit on that box. And if you can't, don't buy it, especially if it's customer returns. And I can tell you that there are certain companies that I will always buy manifested lots from, and there are some companies that I will always buy unmanifested lots from. And that has just come from experience and getting to know the companies and what kind of logical conditions I can expect every single time I order. For example, whenever I buy from Wholesale Ninjas, I will always buy unmanifested because that gets you a better price. And I just know from experience with buying from Wholesale Ninjas that buying both manifested and unmanifested from them, I always get the same kind of condition, and I always get really good resale value even on the unmanifested. So I tend to go ahead and buy the unmanifested because I know I can get a better price per unit, just letting them kind of create a mystery box for me. However, looking at a company like Bulk, even though all of the lots are already manifested, I will almost always buy only brand new merchandise from Bulk because they have a guarantee with their brand new lots. With Bulk, if you buy a brand new lot and you received damaged merchandise or used merchandise, you have a little bit of protection there where you can contact help@bulk.com. You could send them photographs of all of the damaged merchandise as well as the LP numbers from the manifest, and you just have to add in your order ID and the case lot number, and they will usually give you some sort of compensation because they misrepresented the lot. You were expecting brand new. If you got anything less than brand new damaged or used merchandise, they will compensate you for their error. However, with Bulk, if you buy customer returns, you are 100% on your own. And from my personal experience buying from Bulk, the unit price is maybe 20%, 25% more for brand new merchandise, but I would rather pay an extra 25% per unit and have the guarantee that there will be no damage, and if there is damage, then they will compensate me for it, than risk buying customer returns and get a whole box of junk that I can't even sell. But you only learn those kind of things from experience. You have to buy from these companies, get used to what kind of merchandise that you get, you know, whether you get a whole bunch of damage sometimes or a whole bunch of brand new conditions sometimes. You have to create your own conclusions and decide how you're going to order from all of these companies. Now, I will tell you that I do order from several different liquidation companies. I do not just use a single source. I will use different liquidation companies for different things, and that has just come from my personal experience. Do I think that getting one bad box is grounds for never using a company again? No, absolutely not. Companies can improve upon mistakes and earn your business again. But then sometimes there are companies that just doesn't happen. And so it's up to you to decide how many times you want to try a company before never using them again. Don't discount a company just because you get one bad box. Because like I mentioned, liquidation companies are completely at the mercy of the retailer sending them liquidated shipments. And if they get a bad truck, they get a bad truck. That doesn't mean they're always going to get a bad truck. Because if I stopped buying from every single company that I got a bad lot from, I would literally have nowhere to buy from anymore. And then the final tip that I have for buying liquidation is if you are going to buy liquidation, you have to get creative with how you're going to resell it. And I say you're gonna have to get creative because not everything that you are going to buy in those liquidation lots are going to be good for the platform that you intend to sell it on. There has never once been a liquidation lot that I have purchased where 100% of the merchandise all went on eBay. Never happened. Never gonna happen, never expecting it to happen. Sometimes I get items that have no resale value online. Sometimes I get items that are damaged and selling it online is just going to bring me customer complaints. And sometimes the items are just so heavy that when you factor in the cost of shipping, the value is just not there. So here are some of the things that I do to get creative when reselling liquidation. So eBay is the platform that I primarily sell liquidated merchandise on, but if an item does not bring any profit after listing it on eBay, I will also sell merchandise locally. I have a lot of videos on my channel talking about how I utilize Facebook Marketplace as a way of selling liquidation merchandise. I'll link some of them up here in the iCards if you want to go refer to them after this video. But one of the things that I do is I will host pop-up sales out of my garage for repeat buyers. I will sell lots of individual products over Facebook Marketplace, such as a lot of 10 shampoos and conditioners for $15. That's just one example. That's something that I do really frequently. I will do boxes of soaps. I will do boxes of shampoos, body wash, conditioners, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and usually these are items that have some sort of damage because I do sell lots of those kind of items in my eBay store. But if there is some sort of damage or maybe something has leaked, like maybe if I have some bottles of shampoo that have leaked, you know, maybe 10%, or maybe some caps have been broken because of transit, you know, maybe it's an item that has a pump and the pump part has been snapped off. So usually the items that I sell locally like that have some sort of damage or they have leaked, but my local buyers love them. My local buyers love getting a good sale. If they can buy a lot of 10 different bottles of shampoo and conditioner for $10 or $15, they don't care if the pump is broken. They don't care if a little bit has leaked out. They just know that if they were to walk into Walmart and buy those things, that they would be spending $50 or $60, and I'm selling it to them for 10 or 15 bucks. They snatch it up like that. And so that doesn't always mean that you're making a huge profit, but you're at least getting some cash flow back. So even if you spent $1 on an item to only sell it for 50 cents, that's still 50 cents back into your cash flow and not a loss of $1 that you would have been taking otherwise. And that's how you have to look at this. You can't look at it as, well, what am I supposed to do with the stuff I can't put online? You have to get creative. If you can't sell it online, find another place to sell it, even if you're selling it at a loss, to get some cash flow back into your business. Something else that you can do with items that you can't sell online is doing charitable donations and using that as a deduction for your business. Now, let's say that the item is still in perfect condition. There's no damage done to it and you don't want to sell it locally. Check other platforms. Just because it's not worth it financially to list it on one platform doesn't mean it's not selling for a better price on another. That's something that I've run into several times. Sometimes prices get tanked on one platform, but they're holding strong on others. So just because I can't make a profit on eBay doesn't mean I can't make a profit on Mercari, Poshmark, or Amazon. So when buying liquidation, get creative and think outside the box. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and videos like it, please give it a thumbs up. That way I know it. Don't forget to share this video if you found it helpful and you know someone who could benefit from this information. Please do put all questions and comments down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell whenever you want to be notified for new content. And do remember to check the video description. I will put a lot of useful information in there for you as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you with my next video. Bye-bye.